Yeah, good evening, students. Good evening, students. Yeah, good evening, students. Today we
Good
will
evening,
go.
sir.
Today we will go with the unit number 3. Once I will recap the yesterday's unit. Yesterday we have discussed on introduction to information technology and evolution of information and communication technology. What is hardware? What is software? The information processing cycle and IT in communication industry, introduction to digital media, and examples for the ICTs are personal computers, digital television, email, robots, and evaluation also 1960s mechanical devices such as merchant calculator still found widespread application in science and engineering, and analog computers or the first stage of information and communication accelerate and enabled by ICT, making market bigger and more accessible by business with strong capital management and technology. We know nowadays we are using e-commerce transactions and business through ICTs. Softwares like Microsoft Word is also one of the software, Microsoft Excel, and in particularly for print medium, for page designing, Adobe InDesign, Quark Express, we are using Microsoft Publisher and produce newsletters, magazines, and other complex documents. And we are using Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator for correction of images, editing the images. We have also learned information processing cycle, new media like discussion forums, video conferencing, and streaming media, internet television, computer graphics, digital media. And in the unit number 2, we have learned some revolutions like agriculture revolution, industrial revolution, and present the information revolution. And information revolution with the media and computers, internet, and also satellite communication. Digital divide, the word we also uh, learned yesterday class. Digital divide is a who are using digital devices, the gap between the who are using the digital devices and who are not using the digital devices, right? There is a advantages and disadvantages for satellite communication. Is my voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. In the unit number 3, we have to learn the concept characteristics of new media, evaluation of new media, in particularly voicemail, teleconferences. These two are the early stages of new media. Nowadays, we are using interactive communication. That is a more advantage today. And what is a satellite media tours, cashless society? This is applicable nowadays. We are what is new media? New media is a holistic term to describe a host of interactive computer and web-based communication technologies. It is also refers to the convergence of computing and media services through the acquisition, manipulation, storage, and distribution of text, sound, still and moving images, and graphics over a network of computers. The concept, why we call it is a new media. Earlier we have only the print and electronic media for the spread of communication. For information dissemination, we are used the print media and electronic media. The technology now it is very much largely, it is now improved, developed. So we are using mobile phones. Mobile phone is also one of the new media tool. The concept is here. This content can be viewed on any devices. Device means here telephone, otherwise a computer, laptop, even mobile phone, and provides a way for people to interact with the content in real time with the inclusion of user comments and making it easy for people to share the content online and in social with friends and co-worker. The main characteristic is interactive. In the new media, the main character is interactive. What is the characteristic of print media? The main characteristic of the print media is a text form or and also images. In the newspaper, we see news in the text form and images. Coming to the electronic media, for example, for the radio, radio is a audio medium. So where we are listening. In television, coming to the television, that is a audio visual medium. So we are listening and viewing at a time. In the new media, the additional characteristic is interactivity and convergence media. We'll discuss more details about this. Examples of new media, the press, new media is in relation to old media forms such as print, newspapers and magazines that are static representation of text and graphics. Already we have discussed about the electronic media also. Radio and television, the characteristics of radio and television. Now we are going to discuss on the examples of new media. The new media includes websites and blogs, chat rooms. Nowadays, there is a no chat rooms. Earlier, they are starting. like a 20 years, 5 years ago, there is a chat rooms in the Yahoo chat rooms, and later in the Google also. And another new media is email, mobile applications, online communities, social media and sharing platforms. Nowadays, widely we are using social media applications and platforms for sharing our information to others. Web advertising, internet telephony, virtual reality environments, digital cameras, DVDs and CD-ROM media. All these includes in the new media. Characteristics of new media. Earlier we learned the print media, it's in the print form, and we see images also. And coming to the television and radio, that is electronic media, visuals and audio. Here in the new media, these are changes that are the technological, textual, conventional, and cultural. The primary characteristics of a new media is a digital. Digital means the code which are in a binary mode, means 0 and 1. With the 0 and 1, they prepare a program. Is a digital. What is the opposite for the digital? Is a analog. Analog is the another model. And the second one is interactive. Interactive means nowadays we are chatting over through WhatsApp and Instagram and Twitter, like X. So it is possible two-way communication in a real time. Another one is hypertextuals. In new media, we can include hypertext links in the content. One more characteristic of new media is virtual. Virtual means, in case if we are sitting in a game room, indoor game room, even with the equipment of virtual tools, we may travel in the like roller coaster, and even we are climbing the mountains. That is a virtual that imposes our mind. We are really we are experiencing in real. Digital media data is describes as electronic information that generates, stores, and processes data in terms of binary codes. That is 0 and 1. Binary means two. One is a 0, another one is a 1. All data stores in a binary code only. Means 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, like the processes, even though information generates, stores, and processes, everything is in the binary code zone. Interactivity. What is interactivity? Interactivity is the communication process that takes place between humans and computer software. Okay? Interactivity is a powerful representation of user generate and user engagement with media text. It is also a more independent relation to source of knowledge, individualized media use, and greater choice. We can chat with the experts in real time. We can speak with the teacher in interactive mode. For example, we are using now Zoom platform. That is also one interactivity active. There is, we can chat with the teacher in real time. Even we can speak and take our and if we have any doubts, we can get clarifications from the teacher. That is a great advantage with the interactivity. The great advantage with the interactivity. Mr. Syed, are you in the class? Is my voice is clear to you? Mr. Syed? Hypertextual. In already we learned in the characteristics of new media, there is a one word hypertextual. For example, new media, we see in the newspaper, we read newspaper physically. There is a no links, but the same newspaper we can also read in the mobile phone, otherwise the laptop, PC, wherever we can read it. So where we can include the hypertextual. Hypertextual means the more information about the content which is related to the same content. On one mouse click, we can go to that website and we read more information about the data. So that is the main advantage, the hypertextual links which is included in the content of new media. It is a reference to non-sequential connections between all kinds of data facilitated by the computer. For example, the hyperlinks that you have seen used in previous posts, some posts I have added one hyperlink. Virtuality is a real-time experience without VR presence in that condition. For example, skating, we could not need to go to the snow mountains. Even we will be in our game room with the virtual technology, we can skate without in physical presence. This characteristics embodies a virtual world that is created by immersion or engagement in an environment constructed with computer graphics and digital video. In nowadays, see, we are in the PVR, Prasad IMAX. There is a virtual world. Even though we can drive car without physically we handle the steering. We can climb the mountains without, even though we could not hold any support. It is a virtual world. The users have control over their interaction with their hands only. In the studio, in the video game place only, in the video game room only. For example, video games give people a virtual stage where they can interact and somewhat control their virtual lives to an extent. Here we have to learn about the new evaluation of the new media. Until 1980s, there is only for primarily information dissemination, we are used the basic models like print media and analog broadcast models, that is a television and radio. Earlier, television and radio also in analog mode only. Now we are experiencing digital models. In television also digital TV we know, and digital radio also we know. Later on, internet, radio and TV, video conferencing, email, SMS, all mobile devices. Also, that is the process of evaluation of new media. Nowadays, we are seeing newspapers, means e-newspaper, electronic newspapers, even websites of the newspaper, various newspapers. We are now experiencing a digital in the digital form with the use of a mobile phone, a laptop, a personal computer. The new media, which is transferred the traditional media through their applications of technologies such as image manipulation software like Adobe Photoshop and desktop publishing tools. Here with the Photoshop, we can manipulate, we can modify, we can edit, we can add another photo into another photo, graphics. All these activities will be done by the Adobe Photoshop. There is a more softwares like Adobe Photoshops available. Generally, the Adobe Photoshop is a popular one in the media houses they are using nowadays. Globalization. Here we have to know about the globalization also. Earlier days, we could not know if an incident happened in the America, the information were received after 2 or 3 days by the print media. Now we are receiving the information within the minutes. The rise of new media has increased communication between people on the internet all over the world. Within the seconds, a mouse click away, we are getting information all over the world. A small incident, even which is happened in the Australia or America or in Africa, within the seconds, we are getting the information. And the globalization, it has allowed people to express through blogs, websites, pictures, and other user-generated media. Another thing is post-globalization. Here we have to discuss about the Indian new policy, new industrial policy, 1991. The other name is LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. This new policy brought us many innovations, many changes in our day-to-day life. Like, for example, investments, foreign investments, foreign deposits. They are now investing in our media also. Foreign companies, they have shares with the Indian companies. Earlier, there is no chance. With the result of the globalization, the evaluation of new media technologies and globalization took a shape. Now we are experiencing with these new technologies through our mobile phone it is fixed in our hand. Using mobile phones and laptops is now widespread nowadays. Some basic means early days of a new media. One of the new media is a voicemail. Gordon Matthews found a company called VMX. This is a voicemail express in 1979 and obtained patent for its digital innovation in 1982. This is a primary model of new media. Means the first stage of new media. VMX was the first voicemail service provided with the first client being 3M. 3M means here is a company, Minnesota Mining Maintenance Company. So first, that company is used this voicemail. What is happens in the voicemail? The system recorded and managed messages using the technology, and still some companies use VMX systems. Of course, now a few companies nowadays using VMX, a very few, because now many applications are came, like we are using emails. Emails is a next stage of the voicemail. And teleconference is another new media tool. A teleconference is a process of live exchange and mass articulation of information among several people and machines remotely located and are linked through a telecommunication system. Through teleconference, a board meeting will be conducted. And earlier, there is a no Zoom platform and Google Meet platforms like generally we are using nowadays. The main system is teleconference. The company who contracts their employees, a mass employees with the teleconference, particularly board meetings. They use teleconference. Teleconference means if a person who using with a camera and a telephone, he can speak with the boss who sits in the office from different places. At a time, the boss can contact his employees who are located in different places. And how to conduct an effective teleconference? First, we have to develop one plan. Accordingly, the planning, we have to create schedule and preparation. After giving a schedule, then start the call. Mostly, the host will start the call. And in the teleconference, they discuss each other's and they exchanges their duties and they exchange their opinions and sometimes entertainment also. And for perfect teleconference, take attendance. So who are participated in the teleconference? If we have to note it, it is easy to the boss to who are attended there is teleconference. For teleconference, if we use a toll-free number, that may affect you, because some people, means some employees who are not affordable to pay money for the telephone call, otherwise to use teleconference. So for that, if a toll-free number is used, it is effective. More employees can participate in the teleconference. And also for effective teleconference, we have to remember again the scheduled time to the all is employees. Mostly some 10-15 years ago, government offices like in the Mandal Parishad offices, in district collectorates, the collector, otherwise a Mandal officer, means a revenue tahsildar, who used to call teleconference only. Now the technology is updated. Now we are means now the officers are using WhatsApp calls, other technologies available nowadays. Another one is a satellite media tour. Why this is? So earlier days, there is if a company, the boss is try to give some knowledge to their students, their employees. So it take to the local television studio, otherwise a radio studio, and there is a interaction with the staff. So that is a television, that is a media, satellite media tool. Now it is not using any company. Just we have to know one, the concept television satellite media tours is also some 20 years ago. This is a one good concept. A satellite media tour is a technique used by corporations to provide an expert of their choosing to local television news broadcast for often live interactions with the goal of getting out a specific message. Satellite media tours enhance the product marketability through a news program. Cashless society. Now we are widely experiencing the cashless society. Earlier days, only just a debit and credit cards is there. Now we have a UPI payments. UPI payments also one of the cashless society only. A cashless society is the one in which people use more credit and debit cards instead of carrying cash in their wallets. A community which is cashless has lots of benefits to offer. There are both benefits and drawbacks of the cashless society. After COVID, digital payments are widely spread all over India. Even in a small merchant, for example, a vegetable vendor, a tea stall owner, and very least, they are using UPI payments. UPI payments are the digital payments with the so for UPI payments, the customer need a mobile phone tool. So not required any cash in his wallets. With the scanning, he can pay how much he have to pay to the merchant. We are well known about the cashless societies nowadays. We are widely using these new techniques, new technology, new development in our present day life. Many of advantages and as well as drawbacks also there. Some drawbacks like if you have a Wi-Fi card, so sometimes it may be went wrong transaction. So keep it in mind while using cards, and sometimes frauds, credit card frauds, debit card frauds, and some scams, and including scanning scams also. So we must be aware to using our debit credit cards and even UPI payments. Very carefully, we need to use these cashless cards and UPI payments. In this unit, mainly we have discussed on the concept, characteristics of a new media, and evolution of new media. In the evaluation, the primary stage, primary stage are the voicemail and teleconferences. Even new media means computer also one of the new media. DVDs, CDs, DVDs and CDs, floppy drives also the early stage of devices, of storage devices. Now we are using pen drives, even though technologies developed a lot, we are just exchanging files through social media platforms nowadays. With the WhatsApp, we are exchanging our data to one to another. So that is a technology, development of technology. Any doubts in the unit number 3? Some more examples for new media, like social media and sharing platforms. So nowadays we are using widely social media platforms like WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and web advertisements. For these, web advertisements only gives the profits to these social media platforms. So you may get a doubt how the social media platforms are giving free of cost to their services. How they can earn? What is their source of income? So advertisements we see in the websites, in the WhatsApp also nowadays we are seeing advertisements. So web advertisements are the process of incur the social media platforms. Discuss number 4. The unit number 4 is a information society. Here in this unit, we will discuss on concept of information society, internet and communication across boundaries, development of digital technology, and digital divide. What is information society? Information society can be described as the one in which people use information and knowledge as the most productive resource to create wealth and get empowered as citizens, and hence access to and share mankind's store of information and knowledge across the national boundaries. Even though it is a lengthy paragraph, but it's easy to understand. Here, 3 words you have to remember: create, sharing, create and sharing. Some other definitions also described by the various social scientists, various persons, various scholars, like Daniel Bell, who described as a information society, quote, a society that organizes itself around knowledge in the interest of social control and the management of innovation and change, unquote. This is one definition. There is a number of definitions because the social sciences, we call social sciences if any model, any paradigm, or any theory, there is a number of definitions. Means if one found in a some way his own opinion also calls one definition. So in the social sciences, there is a many definitions for one word. Another definition is described by Yoneji Masuda, quote, a new type of society where the possessions of information is the driving force behind its transformation and development, where human intellectual creativity flourishes. In the textbook, we have given 6 or 7 definitions for the information society. Once you read the textbook, you will get more definitions for the information society. Introduction to information and society. What is information? We know a message, a data, a communication. So that is a information. News. What is news? What is the difference between news and information? There is a difference. Information means everything is a information. See, I am speaking with you. I am taking this class. This is information. But this is not a news. If for the news, it may contain some newsworthiness, some importance. So we have to, there is a vary between information and news. Information as a knowledge, information as a thing, and society. There is a 4 concepts. Society means a group of human who are living in some area, or a particular people who believes one religion. Otherwise, a group of people who follow some rituals. So that is a society. A group of people who are professional in one particular area. That is also one society. A group, there is a number of definitions for the society. Society means that includes humans with the same nature of humans, a group of humans. right? Mr. Hussein, are you in the class? Mr. Hussein, is my voice is clear to you? Right. Information society, the origin, the concept of and studies about information society first emerged in Japanese social science in the early 1960s. The Japanese version of the expression is Joho Shakai or Joho Kasa Shakai, means a society, information society. Around 1980s, terms information and society combined into a new concept, which included and encapsulated all the previous partial concepts and even preserved the expressive power, approach, and attitude they represented. Here we have to learn about the internet, intranet, extranet also. In 1983, ARPANET started using the TCP or IP protocols. TCP means Transfer Control Protocol. IP means Internet Protocol. This is commonly seen as the true beginning of the Internet. In 1983, just 40 years ago only, we are now experiencing the internet. The early stage is just 40 years ago only. Internet protocols include TCP or IP, HTTP. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. FTP, File Transfer Protocol. And SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. These are some protocols. Protocols means some guidelines, some activities to to smoothen the process. Web components. The web has three major components. The Uniform Resource Locator, that is a URL, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, and Hypertext Markup Language, HTML. These are the three major components included in the web. Web and internet is a different. Internet means for web we see web pages. One page which is appeared on the mobile phone or the computer, it is called web page. A bunch of pages, that is a world wide web. So we are getting pages of information, web pages from various sources from all over the world. That is why we call it is World Wide Web. The World Wide Web has turned the internet into a major mass medium that provides news, entertainment, and community interactions. There is a difference between www and internet. Okay. The internet has become the world's largest distributed communication, retrieval, and computing system. Its basic functions are sending and securing the messages. The internet in general and the web in particular were based on a set of values known as the hacker ethic. We know we are frequently listen the hackers, the word we listen. Some hackers, sometimes many in the social media platforms also, we see my internet my Facebook is hacked. We see these kind of messages. So this is a valueless work. There is also some ethics. We have to maintain that ethics. We don't hack the websites and even media platforms or social media platforms also. This ethic holds that information should be freely distributed and that individuals should access and exchange messages. Development of digital technology. Already we known 0 and 1 called binary codes. Those are the digits. We see we count the data in kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes. Like digital technology is a base of two processes, like a 0 and 1 binary code. Digitalized information is recorded in binary code of combinations of the digits 0 and 1 called bytes, bits, which present words and images. Digital data broadcast system, the electronic numerical integrator and calculator, ENIAC, is the first electronic computer. In the early 2000s, digital computers ranging from desktop to laptops came in many sizes. We generally using 14 inches monitors, means that is a desktop, 14 inches, 19 inches, and big monitor screens also now we are using for various activities. Laptops also now we are using for various activities and our day-to-day work also. Post-COVID, the using of the laptops and COVIDs are manifold. Digital divide. What is digital divide? Here we have to discuss. A person, earlier earlier we are counted like literates and illiterates who knows reading and writing. So we call him as a literate. Who don't know writing and reading, we called him as an illiterate. Now, in the digital era, in this digital area, who knows the digital platforms, digital using is a digital literate, sorry, who don't know how to use mobile phones, computers, those are the digital illiterates. Broadly speaking, the difference is not necessarily determined by the access to the internet, but by access to ICT, information and communication technologies, and to media that the different segments of society can use. Earlier days, like what is rich and poor? In perspective of money, who have money, that if who don't have money, who is a poor. In information rich and information poor. So who knows the information? Various channels, maybe print media, electronic media, new media. And who is a information poor, who don't know the more information. And digital, non-digital. This is also important vary nowadays. Now, digitally rich and digitally poor also is a concept where a person who can manage computers and mobile phones, means various applications on the mobile phones, so is a digitally rich. If a person you do not manage digital means a smartphone, otherwise a digital television. So he is a digitally poor. Bridging the gap. The media that some information and communication technologies are vital to quality civic life is not new. Some suggest that the internet and other ICTs are somehow transforming society, improving our mutual understanding, eliminating power differentiations, releasing a truly free and democratic world society and other benefits. So we have to fill this gap, digital divide. Earlier, say literates and illiterates. So some programs are offered. Some programs were offered like evening studies, evening schools. There, who were not able to take their studies in a working hours, they visit evening colleges, and early education policies are so there. Now, to bridge this gap of digital poor and rich, so everyone need to know the new technologies of information communication technologies. So everyone must need to know how to use mobile phones, how to use computer, how to use internet, how to operate a computer. So this is a bit we can, if we learned a lot, we may become the digital rich people. Digital literacy. Literacy is a arguably another such element, although it is not related to any new technologies or at least latest technological devices. It is a very widely shared view in many societies that being literate is essential to one's career, to self-guided learning, to political participation, and to internet use. So ultimately, what we are saying here, everyone must get knowledge of the using internet and somehow how to use mobile phones also, because mobile phone handset is a economy tool, economy handset compared with the laptops, desktops. So if we all applications are included in the mobile phones nowadays. Nowadays smartphones, many applications, internet also available in the mobile phone, many social media apps also available in the our handset. Purpose of information society, why we required information society. So in a human psychology, we always learn to know, to innovate more. So we are always to know what is